Welcome to today's episode. I'm Janka Palcek, a psychologist with strong intuition, and I love conversations with people who work with higher consciousness in a grounded, embodied way. My today's guest is Joanna Nowin, also known as Jo. In the past, she worked as a teacher at the Steiner School in Edinburgh. Later, her path led her into deep spiritual exploration, where she worked personally with spiritual teacher Moji in a lovely Portugal. Today, back home in Hungary, Jo works as a holistic spiritual coach and Theta healer. She shares her insights through spiritual, inspirational talks, supporting people in reconnecting with their true essence. Welcome, Jo. How are you
Thank
today?
you. I'm very well, thank you. Very excited about the new year.
So, yes, for everybody, we are recording on 2nd of January 2026, which is promise of a lot of new beginnings.
Yeah,
And how do you feel about this upcoming year?
I'm very optimistic. I feel a lot of energy for new beginnings, exactly as you're saying, like a very fiery but also very grounded energy of basically the chariot of the tarot card. It's like, yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
Abso- Absolutely. After year which was in numerology number 9,
Mm,
which was ending all what needed to be closed as a cycle, before we can really begin renewed. And I don't
mm,
think it's just about simple small things. It was literally going through karmic connections and everything that needed to be cleared so we can become lighter and
yeah.
more at ease with self and with really bringing on our true potential. I think
Mm.
also this will be very, very powerful year. So tell us, do you have some new beginnings already on go or are you planning?
No, 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 it's already unfolding in very beautiful ways. I'm training. Last year was, as you said, literally like endings, like resolving and releasing a lot of like old patterns, old karma, old stuck energies that really were like weighing me down. And by the end of the year, I came to a place of being very ready for new beginnings, which are already starting. Me training to be a master practitioner of Compassion Key, and and really stepping into that role and in that inner calling, I would say, of healing and supporting people in coming out of their shells, coming out of hiding, coming out of shrinking. And I'm mainly talking to people who are highly sensitive or light workers, if more spiritually attuned people are listening. But it's not a prerequisite because high sensitivity is simply neurodiversity. But many highly sensitive people judge themselves for that. And what I'm embarking upon is, on one hand, getting more attuned to my sensitivity and allowing it to really come to surface more and more every day, because I used to judge myself for it too. And at the same time, it's a call for all those people who think there is something wrong with them because they are more sensitive to noises or just generally to the world, or they feel that they are basically like an alien dropped off on the wrong planet and like wondering what the hell is going on here. Well, I can completely relate. And as I'm exploring this theme in my own life and coming to terms with a lot of it, and basically learning how to open up and be authentically myself in a world that is constantly pushing me otherwise.
Mhm.
And I feel that it is not a mission impossible. And the more people start doing it, the more people start coming out of hiding and really taking on who they are, taking on meaning like allowing their true self to come to surface and not shrink back. the more we get to create a world that is a kind and loving and a nice place to be or live. And that's
Love.
the biggest new beginning in my life. Mm.
Mhm. Lovely, lovely said. I completely relate because I'm also what Carl Gustav Jung called intuitives.
Mm.
And so I sense literally everything. And yes, it is something that a lot of people maybe judges about themselves. I don't know. I never saw it that way, as judgment. I saw it more as question, what can I do in order to embody it,
Mm.
but at the same time align it with my strength.
Mm.
So, and this is actually what I work with little children.
Mm.
That's the big topic, and I sense also that this year it will be big focus
Mm.
working with sensitive kids, and of course that is because they are very highly spiritual. And I have a friend who worked with kids as a psychologist for 3 decades, and in the past she used to call me asking what can she do with this problem, because she couldn't understand it. How can
Mm.
somebody sense everything, and she could never hide anything from them. Child comes for therapy and it's asking her, oh, so you argue with your boyfriend yesterday? so, so that is something which she says was happening, let's say once, twice in a few months.
Mm.
Now she would say one of three kids is like this. Like you can't
Wow.
hide anything from them.
Mm.
And I work, I have my own methods. And now, as I also come back to Slovakia or came back to Slovakia,
Mm.
this is big interest for me, and really I feel called to explain parents what it means to be highly sensitive child.
Mm.
And it's nothing more satisfying as when parents who are highly pragmatic with two other kids which are very pragmatic come with a child which is highly sensitive and they don't know what to do with it. Like
Mm.
what to do with this
Yeah.
sensitivity, because they don't even understand that that is something which you are born with. It's
Yeah.
literally different chemistry in the brain. Like
Mm.
the beauty of 21st century is that now we can measure everything. Like if we look at it from psychological or neuroscience
Mm.
viewpoint, then people are born with already different setting in the brain.
Mm.
So as you said, we respond very differently to strong light, noise. If you are exposed to big groups, you can sense everything. So it
Mm.
is also about processing so much more information than if you have, let's say, more pragmatic composition of the being. So how about
Yeah.
you? How did you deal with your sensitivities during, your life?
It's a good question because it only has occurred to me like a couple of years ago that I'm falling into this category. Like I never consciously like dealt with it. So now as I look back in on my life, I can see why I preferred being with animals to humans when I was a child. Because I can see how I just felt so much more at ease and comfortable with them. And they were basically my saviors for like soothing my nervous system, where I could feel myself, where I could feel safe at ease. And yeah, so and I can see how animals have had a huge role in my life, most of my life, in that, in kind of keeping me sane, to be honest. But in, yeah, and therefore it's one of my goals, in probably a bit further down the line, to do animal assisted therapy, because I can see how important and how potent they are in soothing our nervous system, in helping us to open up, in helping us to receive love when we are not used to receiving love, because a lot of people have blocks around love and around receiving love. However, with animals, it's not a mind game anymore, and the nervous system feels it's safe to
Mm-hmm.
let it come in, let it receive. So it's a really nice way to rewire your nervous system to that. And yeah, other than that, I somehow intuitively figured it out when I was living in Spain, that I just need to have time on my own, and that's a non-negotiable. And it just became a habit and that was like 15 years ago, that every Sunday became my contemplative day. I was teaching English in Spain, so I was with people a lot. I was giving a lot. I loved them. I loved all my students, but I needed one day for myself. When I shut the door, I cocooned myself in my room, and I just give myself space to process and just decompress, basically. And this is another thing that I appreciate so much, and I honestly recommend to everyone with high sensitivity to really take it seriously. That we do need time to be on our own. We do need time to process and have space where we can just, yeah, drop the guards and just be ourselves, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these two were the two most important things. Oh, maybe, yeah, the third one is nature. Like, I'm very aware that I need to be in nature like regularly in order to like regulate my nervous system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think
Perfect.
these three are my major go-to survival kit.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, I agree. So animals, quiet time when you really are just with yourself,
Yeah,
you are not entangled with thoughts, feelings of others.
yeah,
And third, nature, which of course there is negative neurons which is coming
yeah.
immediately when we go out. If we walk through nature, if we let sun consciously come into our system,
Yeah.
or when we really connect with earth just by walking,
Mm.
it is definitely making magical difference. Now when you are talking about
Mm.
animals, I was just writing into chapter because I'm writing a book about sensitivity and how it
Mm.
goes through life, and whatever happened in childhood, how you can see it in your life, and then later how you understand it. Oh, this one happened. Oh,
Mm.
this is what it meant. So I was just writing about us being child. I was probably 5, 6. Then I would organize kids, and after dark, we would go and we would free animals from from villagers because I felt their suffering. So, in the morning, our neighbors would be knocking at the door. Marta, saying to my mother, she did it again. Tell her we love our animals. But I thought they are suffering. So yes, I can completely rely that there was this unconditional sensation of love, and I
Yeah.
think I think this is what many sensitive people or empaths, we will talk if you see it as the same or different, but how people have that tendency to blame everybody. Of course, this is how we start our path. We blame everything on parents,
Mm.
fairly. I'm joking. In the end, we have chosen it,
Mm.
that this would be our learning path and our experience. But I would say that, they couldn't do even better because many intuitives or highly sensitive people or light workers, whatever you want to call us, or star seeds, people who are really powerful in higher realms, even if they are here on Earth, they're functioning in different dimensions at the same time, which we all are actually, if I'm thinking, but some are very like consciously even doing those things. That we came and we knew that people who will be caring for us will be of lower consciousness, which means they will be never able to give us love the form we needed, because we needed to feel it, and often we came into families where there was more that style of, you are fed, you have nice clothes, you have warm room, that's all. Like, don't ask for anything too demanding. And I think they couldn't give it to us also because they couldn't feel it.
Exactly.
Yeah, generations,
Yeah.
before us, we are in about, I think you are younger, but in about, let's say, decade up or down. But so for us, these generations, they were coming from that heavier consciousness. It's very different now. Young people who are having children, they're different, right?
Yeah.
So consciousness went through radical shifts. Earth came from massive, and is still coming through massive changes. So I would say, let's all of us start giving it to us. Like, do I need higher level of love? How can I give it to myself? And how do I start a decision? I stop searching it everywhere else. I stop blaming everybody and feeling like a victim. And I start really ask myself, well, okay, if there is life in me, that means there is soul, there is God, there is cosmos, there is energy, which means I can shift into that beautiful sensation of love or self-compassion.
Yeah.
I think self-compassion is maybe even more important than self-love.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to have them all, but but tell us about compassion, how you see it, and self-compassion.
That's the best question ever, because the tool and method I'm working with is called Compassion Key. And one of the main reasons why and how it changed my life so profoundly is because it took me out from the judgmental mind, like basically this inner judge and inner critic, and moved me to self-compassion. It basically taught me how to move from self-judgment to self-compassion, and how incredibly powerful and healing it is to relate to ourselves with compassion. And I agree that in some ways I wouldn't want to choose. I would love to have both, but in some ways I find self-compassion more powerful as a healing force. I mean, there isn't a whole lot of difference, I would say, between love and compassion, but compassion seems to have more of an active energy in terms of healing. And yeah, it's incredible how if we direct compassion very precisely to our wounded aspects, they can completely heal and return back to their original essence, nature, and therefore release and liberate a lot of the life force energy that was stuck in our system for so long. So we have a lot more vitality, a lot more joy, a lot more of our original essence, nature being able to come to the surface rather than being covered up or clouded by these painful aspects of our being.
I would even ask, do you see that stuck energy, because that stuck energy comes with stuck emotions,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously it comes
Yeah.
also through generation. We carry 7 generational traumas. And then,
Yeah.
when we heal that, then you realize that there is still much more what we should help
Yeah.
them all who we came from or
Yeah.
through and for. And it can be never ending story if we don't find the right method. And you
Mm.
can hear it all the time, like there is still so many workshops. And I had few clients
Yeah.
who would come to me, oh yeah, I went for this workshop. I spent a week or weekend in working on my ancestral wounds. And then they
Yeah.
can't stop crying for 3 weeks, so
No.
they would come to me because it wasn't closed properly. And I
Yeah.
think people don't understand that when you open
Yeah.
that Pandora box,
Yeah.
you willingly say, oh, does somebody need a healing?
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous question.
Yeah.
If you don't have, like, I mean, like I did that and I wouldn't do it again.
Mm.
But if somebody does it, is
Mm.
willing to do that because they believe they can heal themselves only if they heal
Mm.
ancestors. But I
Mm.
think for that there was big time, and then that time closed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you see it. Like, I know I'm taking as maybe little diversion from
Mm.
just compassion, but I think it's also
Yeah.
a part of compassion. But how do you see it? Or did you do much of that, or did you take it as freedom of your choice? Or do you think people can't really heal if they don't have ancestors?
You mean how important is it to heal ancestral wounds?
Yeah, if you can
In
heal
Mhm.
yours, if you don't heal theirs, because it is, scientifically proven.
Ah, yeah, I
Yes,
get you. Yeah.
scientifically proven it is that we have seven
Yeah.
generation trauma in
Yeah.
DNA,
Yeah.
which I mean we can heal
Yeah.
with DNA by creating new environment. That's like
Yeah.
epigenetics. It's science which is
Mm.
taught in Stanford now for decades because
Mm.
of Dr. Lipton.
Yeah.
But now, because you were speaking about this releasing energy or life
Mm-hmm.
energy which we have within.
Yeah.
So it is linked with our programs and our
Mm-hmm.
wounds, which often come also through DNA.
Yeah.
So what
Absolutely.
comes to you when I talk about it?
Um, we do work a lot with that in Compassion Key also.
Mhm.
And in brackets, I say that we sometimes even past life stuff comes up, but we are not hunting for that. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it can come up.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I think it's a very important part, but I would also address the need to take on their karma because very often we take on people's karma or our ancestors' karma out of compassion or out of the need to belong. So there are so many reasons and so many so-called secondary gains why we take on this karma. But also it can just simply show up because, yeah, in what you call it, family constellations, like if something didn't get resolved in our family line, then the energy will seek an outlets where it can be resolved, and it often shows up in our life unannounced and completely or seemingly random. And
Mhm.
yes, we absolutely work with a lot of this because I wouldn't say you can't be free, but it's kind of part of your makeup in a way, and we don't want it to be part of your makeup because it doesn't belong to you. So we help release those patterns as well in Compassion Key.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it is very well said. Yes, if it appears in your path, you will not move if you don't deal with it. Let's be
Yeah,
clear.
exactly.
You know, like I tried, I know, you know, it's
Yeah,
like banging your head against the wall.
yeah.
Even you don't even have to ask, why me? Why me?
Yeah.
It's like, how much time do we have?
Yeah.
So it's not a question, why me, but question is where or what gift is in this for me?
Mm,
Like this is my question those days when something is coming back, and I know it's
mm,
not mine because exactly as you said,
mm,
yes, we took something, but
mm.
it's big uh, game, I would say, for some of us, which we have to be really good at playing because, for example, I was born into some healers, but linked with sacrificing, and
Mm-hmm.
then it was perfectly melted in me or cemented in me in like 16 years singing it in church like 3 times per week, playing games. We were, traveling because we were, doing concerts and many things. And that is like sacrifice is the key. Like you are
Yeah.
like people who go to church or went to church, this is
Mm,
like big, like you have to go and you have
mm.
to look into what you promised repeatedly. So one of those biggest promises you are giving is that you will help Christ carry the cross of others.
Mm. Exactly.
It's like translation for everybody, taking their karma on. And another translation, taking their weakness and pain on
Mm-hmm.
yourself. So you can be as
Yeah.
strong as you want, but those game is
Mm-hmm.
keeping you and holding you back. It's like you make, let's say, 10 points of consciousness up, and then it's like it is pulling you. And,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like one thing is when you are not aware of it, you just may say to yourself, oh well, that's in my cards, like I can't do it. But if you see it, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
people say, oh, you see it, it's easier for you. No, it's more annoying.
Yeah.
So tell me about your experience. Did you recognize something which you would carry like this for people?
Absolutely. Yeah. And um, yeah, something came up while you were speaking, but I forgot now. But anyways, I think many of us come, yeah, this is it. Many of us come here in this category of light worker, highly sensitive, with this deep desire to serve. And one way we either made promises in past lives or the intention for this life that I will serve by taking on other people's pain and transmuting it through my own being. Now, it sounds very nice and holy, but in real life, let's say it sucks. And it's not the most effective way to deal with it. And so, for all those, like what you're saying, that we need to sacrifice, we need to be so holy and serve through our own pain and suffering, basically. Because we also have the tendency to glorify pain, suffering, martyrdom, self-sacrifice. And that's also coming from a lot of our past lives when we did that and we made promises to keep either punishing ourselves or keep sacrificing ourselves.
Mhm.
However, I would say that's a bit outdated at these days, and there are other ways because there is no reason why I can only transform or transmute other people's suffering only through taking it on and suffering with them. Like there are better, more updated, and more joyful ways of doing that. And one thing is, what I keep telling people who come to me is that we came here to break the pattern, not to continue the pattern. And by breaking the pattern, I mean leading through joy, leading through being the most uplifted version of myself, not the one who joins them in drudgery, but the one who shows them that there is another way. There is a joyful way. There is a way to learn the lessons through direct download from our higher self rather than going through painful lessons in life. And this is not to discount the lessons we are learning. This is just to say that very often we hold on to painful situations because we have a belief system that this is the only way to grow and learn and evolve. But what if this isn't the only way? What if we can learn through joy? What if we can learn through love and grace and ease? And those ways of learning are just as valid. So,
I
yeah.
think, yes, beautifully said. I think the question "what if" is very good for, especially for people who don't see yet there is really different
Mm-hmm.
option.
Yeah.
And I think this, sacrifice and so on was standard for a, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was even that you couldn't even come and be your fully bride because people in power wouldn't let you. Now, it was,
Yeah.
there was not just, if you just look, for example, people from CIA who taught agents to do remote viewing
Mm.
are now teaching it whoever, or Silva method, like people, literally
Mm-hmm.
people who were thinking, who came with new ideas about how to read, how to know what somebody wants from, not because you want to manipulate somebody, but to see when somebody is manipulating you. And
Mm-hmm.
let's be clear, people often buy their love,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
without really seeing it is love shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And, because people are like, oh, Novella, I'm just nice. Well, you are sacrificing yourself, or you are pitying yourself, or now I'm not making fun from it. I'm just saying, we all been there. I was
Mm-hmm.
people pleaser, you for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
and and it wasn't conscious, but it was based
Yeah.
on in insecurities.
Yes.
And just to finish the story about CIA people, and it's not just about them, they're now teaching it, and it's fine. Decade ago, they would be disappeared, like they would just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
You think that, in the past this was allowed? No, this is new age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now is the time to bring power on. But what that power on mean is, yeah, through healing, which starts with forgiveness,
Yeah.
which includes self-forgiveness. And if you want to forgive yourself, I don't believe it's possible without self-compassion.
Mm. Exactly.
Yeah. And yes, you start by sort of faking it, like you say, I forgive myself, and then you have, tick in your neck, like,
Yeah.
what? And I forgive her. What? Like
Yeah.
people, when people come, as a client, and they're like, no, I can't forgive it. And I'm,
Yeah.
my great example, which works for everybody. Okay, you know what anger is? Envy, jealousy, all of that, low emotions, low state of consciousness. You can be very spiritual, you can pray in love, you can meditate as much you want, you can come to, people smile and talk about oneness as much you want. But let's say there are those envy because somebody has already what you want,
Mm-hmm.
But normally you are okay because you can hide it. Not anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have these
Exactly.
all new energies and it's like it's coming for, it's bubbling up and we can't really push it anymore. So we all have to deal with it. And so how to deal with it is to realize to be envious, jealous, angry, and all of those other lower emotions, signs of lower consciousness, is what is pulling us down, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
could go up and you could come to, well, eventually to enlightenment, right? That's the point of rising our consciousness. But this is something that is always pulling you down, right? So those lower emotions, lower consciousness, emotions and habits are pulling us back. So we need to realize that envy and all of those are poison. So it's like you think that you are drinking poison, but they will die.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us what works for your clients if they never heard about forgiveness or self-compassion. How do you explain somebody even what self-compassion is for you? How do you get to it, right? What do you say to them?
I love this question, partly because I used to work with forgiveness a lot, like Ho'oponopono and other forgiveness techniques, because I completely agree that it's the most powerful thing, healing and release, energetic release. But with I recently contemplated this that it's a big buzzword, forgiveness. So if I can just stay with forgiveness for a second, self-forgiveness is definitely a big one. But I would add two things to it. One of them is we can't force forgiveness for two reasons. One of them is it's very often, unforgiveness is very often used as self-protection, like basically a way of setting boundaries. So I would always start with making sure that the person is actually physically safe, physically, emotionally, and psychologically safe from the one they are about to forgive, because it could, like, I don't want to dismantle someone's defense mechanism unless they are actually safe. And the second one is to first work on the emotions, like release the anger, release the pain, release whatever emotions are stuck, because otherwise it can create havoc, basically.
So
So
how?
these two steps first, and then we
Yeah,
can go to forgiveness.
absolutely. Very, very good point. I distracted you. Sorry from what you
No,
were
no, it's
going to
good.
say. No, just because I absolutely agree with forgiveness. There is big, big truth that needs to be said.
Mm,
If somebody is repeatedly harming you,
mhm,
and that means whoever that is.
mhm,
It can be your closest friend, it can be your mother, it can be your whoever it is. You have to first realize that you are not there to understand them, like why they are doing it. And I think
mm,
this is what for a long time stops us because we try to understand it. Like like why is it happening? Like, oh, see, she
mm.
had a hard life,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
she can't do better. And this is
yeah,
also a problem for many sensitive people. Like she
yeah.
can't do better. That's true. However,
Mhm,
your responsibility and strength and
mm,
what cosmos, God, or whatever you believe
mhm,
in, that is what it wants from you to take stand and
mhm,
really say, okay,
mhm,
this doesn't work for me. I will forgive you.
mhm.
However, I will be not exposed to you.
Yeah,
Like I will
exactly.
expose just under my condition as much as I
Mm,
say, as I feel that fit. If you will be
yeah.
using this vocabulary with me, because I'm not even talking about violence,
Mm,
like
Yeah.
I would come and I would pack your suitcase for you.
Mm.
Uh, which again,
Yeah.
I don't mean really, but that was very good
Sometimes you
metaphor.
do.
Yeah, sometimes you do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because sometimes really, I heard Michael Beckwith once saying, because usually you would say, okay, you can't do it for them because then they will come back, right? Which often can be true, yeah.
Hmm.
But also sometimes are people really like literally under the spell. And
Yes.
I'm not going there because that would be,
Hmm.
another 3 podcasts. But now I'm not just talking about, narcissistic talents and manipulations which work on you for as long
Hmm.
as you live. But there is literally spell when people can be literally under power of somebody's psychic will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have people who are extremely talented,
Mm.
right? So, yeah, sometimes, as Michael Beckwith said, that once they had friends, that they literally came as a group of friends and they packed her and they
Hmm.
removed her to different house and let her 1 week. You have to think, you have to
Mm.
separate from him, and then you will make decision. And he said that later she couldn't believe that she actually was there, but she needed that physical separation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is about how we sense it. Like usually we wouldn't help or force even something
Hmm.
like that. But
Yeah.
sometimes it can really save somebody's life, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So if you spoke about releasing emotions, that's the
Hmm.
step number 2 you mentioned.
Yeah.
What techniques do you use with people?
I would like my absolute go-to is compassion key.
Okay,
Like
so let's go.
basically,
Let's go there.
um, however, yeah, in if my goal is forgiveness, then it could just simply be sitting with the emotion and acknowledging it. And yeah, but then compassion key really helps, like
Mhm.
to release the emotion itself. And
So,
then the third, yeah, yeah.
sorry. So, compassion key, you mentioned it many times. Is it frequency that you bring in space, or is it something specific?
Hmm. It's a bit of both actually now that you're saying that, because it's been used by so many people that it has its own entity, like a consciousness itself. So we do invite the consciousness of compassion key to come and support us in a session. But it's basically a modality that works with bringing forward wounded aspects of our being and just um, giving it compassion for the subjective experience that part is holding. Like, so to break it down very simply, trauma is not what happens to you, but what happens in you as a result. And that means very often those experiences, unprocessed experiences and emotions get stuck in our system and attached to one of our parts, because I love internal family systems. So to say their language, we don't have one mind, we have like a multitude of aspects. And these aspects start holding these emotional imprints that they couldn't process in time. So very simple. We bring forward that aspect and then we give compassion to whatever their experience is. Like, I'm so sorry they didn't listen to you, or whatever their experience is, and whatever we meet with compassion dissolves. And because that part finally feels heard, seen, loved, and they receive whatever they would have needed in that moment.
Mhm.
So they are free to release their burdens and return back to their natural self.
I can hear now question somebody could have. How can whole life of feeling not hurt, because when it starts at 5,
Yeah.
you are 5 years old. How can somebody release it that easy when they're 40, 50?
It's actually not that linear, or it's exactly the same reason why we feel it at the age of 40, 50 is because that 5-year-old in us is still holding the imprint. It's not me at the age of 40, 50 feeling that. It's my wounded child feeling it. And it's exactly why it's so simple. I just need to go back to the place where it got stuck. Like the first most intense time I felt that particular thing, release it there, and then it's released from today's time as well, and throughout the entire timeline in a way.
Mhm. Uh-huh.
So, very good question.
Yes, I work with psychosomatics, so I know exactly what you are talking about.
Yeah.
And it's psychosomatics is very similar from different viewpoint, or like there is, let's say, that works more with me, or I work with a 0 point. So
Mm-hmm.
it's similar, but I go more through just state. But it's also about taking people to that point, you know, allowing them to bring it online more and stay. And also, yeah, looking at it as, okay, you are safe. That is something that got stuck, and
Mm-hmm.
it created its own life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then you just keep them in that state of experiencing it without actually feeling pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get stuck, in that emotion, and you are like, oh, so you are saying it's just emotion. Oh, like this is weird. And it's like 3, 2, 1. Then it's like click, and it's like bang, and it just release.
Amazing.
Yeah, like I had
Yeah.
somebody 15 years scared from dark because she was wrapped
Mm-hmm.
when she walked through dark, and she just couldn't be in dark for 15 years. Like they had to have lights at home, husband would have to collect her from work, and so on. And then we did like 3 sessions, which was actually indirect because she came for something different. But after 3 sessions, she said, I'm no more scared from darkness.
Wow.
So, so I think there is much more possibilities what we can do with our life force
Mm.
these days. But I would also recommend everybody not trying to do it on their own, not
Yeah.
try to do it in
Mm.
groups. Like I think doing these things in groups is, I'm not saying you will not go into emotions, but you need somebody who can hold your space.
Yes.
And I don't believe in group. Like there is 30 people. I had one friend who came for this sort of experience. And she said as she lay down, she just immediately felt, like depression and so on and so on. Because if you're a little bit sensitive, you sense everything and you will carry it
Mm.
home,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so if you are starting with this sort of process, go to somebody who is for you feeling, yes, I feel really comfortable. Some people would prefer psychosomatics with me, others would prefer compassion method with you, or maybe they
Mm-hmm.
would mix.
Mm-hmm.
But go there and you will learn it for yourself in what, three
Yeah.
sessions? Like if you
Yeah.
are slow, 3 sessions. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because it is in consciousness, and as you said, you can call the key, if you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
entity, key, energy, essence, angels of compassion. People can call it as they need,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn from that person who will do it with you, not because what they say, but their consciousness will make imprint in your consciousness.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
we didn't touch Moji, but let's just do it for a few moments. That's the same, like now from you there is big presence coming. And I think this is also what you learned with Moji, because I consider him as probably most dangerous person for ego.
Mm.
Like I remember when I wasn't able to really put the ego aside, that I would see, when I would be scrolling, I would see Moji and I was like, I was like, let's get out of here, fast, fast. But of course, he brings the presence so powerfully that if you listen to him few times and you are ready, so you already transmuted your consciousness to certain levels, what it means, you don't have that. For example, you have no envy on the scale level 10, but you went from 10, let's say, to 7. And if you are God blessed, 3. So then Moji doesn't dispel you or doesn't repel you. What repels you about somebody is because they have powerful imprint for something which could really help you.
Yeah.
So tell me, what brought you to him? And that's all.
Well, exactly what you just said. His energy. Like I remember in 2016, I went to his retreat. Actually, even before that, in 2013, I came across with one of his videos, and his eyes, like looking into his eyes, completely mesmerized me. And I watched one of his videos and I was hooked like anything. I was locking myself up in my room. That was the time when I was teaching English in Spain. And I was taking my Sundays for quiet contemplation. And then Muji just became part of that I literally spent entire days or entire weekends in my room just watching him and just looking into his eyes and soaking up that incredible energy that was radiating from him. And then this got even more intense when I went to his retreat and I met, or not just met him, but I could sit in his presence. What you just said, his presence was like literally just like meeting Jesus. Like the way he moved in space, the way he interacted with every single human being from morning till evening without ever stopping or without ever claiming anything for himself. I was just sitting there completely like amazed and yeah, like wow. So yeah, his energy. And I just felt that whatever this is, I want to be part of this. Like I want to be close to this. And I left my life, I walked out of my life, left my relationship, and yeah, I was living in Edinburgh. That's when I was a Waldorf teacher. And I thought that I don't really mind because whatever my life is right now is nothing compared to what I'm seeing here and what I'm feeling and experiencing here. And it was honestly the best decision of my life, without a doubt.
I would say it really is visible on you, and I don't know if that is a good sentence, but certainly compassion is infectious. And now when I was preparing for our chat, I would just think a little bit as I was taking shower. I'm going to talk with you, and I never really prepare anything. I just create short introduction as I see that person, and I never really go with what should be said or not. I just really open up space to information and energy and connection on the highest possible levels of consciousness, and then I just let it come in. But I immediately would feel compassion in me growing. And now also, as we mentioned, Moji, then obviously in consciousness, he is, immediately present because his consciousness is big and it's spread it, so it hears very well. So do you experience this connection with him just randomly, or more when you feel some need to connect, or if you feel down, do you rise thanks to his consciousness?
I'm not so much involved with him, to be honest, these days.
Yeah.
I'm more opening up to the same thing, basically, just without giving it any form or shape. So basically, I just go inside and ask the creator of all that is, as we say in Theta Healing, or God, Goddess, the universe, or anything like a bit more universal ways, but it's the same energy. And yes, whenever something is, one thing, my absolute go-to tool that I learned from him is to just sit and let everything drop. And you end up in the same place, like basically empty. Like when I feel like the noise is welling up, I'm getting a bit confused and overwhelmed, and I don't know what I'm doing and where I'm heading. And when I notice that I'm getting down in that negative spiral, he told me that, and I still, my favorite tool is to just stop, sit down, pull every break. Like I don't need to go crazy. Like nothing's going to happen if I don't run around like a headless chicken for 5 minutes at least. Sit down, let everything drop, and just go back to that place of complete emptiness inside, and then look at the situation from there. And that's pretty much my major connection with Muji, like this tool, because that's where I meet him.
That is because I can see energy and consciousness. So, you just do it, bang, it's not that, some people would need 2 hours, 3 hours, to get to a certain point of 0 point maybe. But you just did, you are talking about it, you close your eyes and bang, you just went there, you dropped it all, your consciousness completely shifted, and then you said, ask from there, bang. Yeah? And so, dear listeners and those who watch us in practice, this is what happened. We can shift where we need to, and it's crucial. Find the right teacher, find the right guide. And obviously, if there are right guides, they are teaching you to be independent, to search for your own power. That's obviously clear also, as you said, that you are not in touch with him anyhow actively these days. Regardless of your magnetized sensation when you saw him at the beginning, you became yourself, and that's what right teachers for us do. So this was lovely, and I am pretty sure we will continue in our discussion. Jo, thank you for your time and your wisdom, and for bringing compassion, peace, big piece of compassion to our podcast. I'm pretty sure that people can sense it when they look at you. So, what would be your today message for everybody?
I think pretty much what we started with, that the more we learn to give compassion to ourselves and heal all these wounded aspects in ourselves, the more we heal everyone else. And the more we help rise and elevate the consciousness on this planet, and the more we help create a world that is actually a beautiful place to live, a world that is a kind and loving and, yeah, like a beautiful place. So my message generally and my mission generally is for people to start stepping into their own healing and take responsibility for that. Because by healing yourself, you heal all of us. And that includes every sentient being, not just humans. So, yeah,
Jana, knowing,
that,
thank you so much for
thank
today
you.
and enjoy the rest of the day.